There have been several studies that were completed along Broadway that involved merchant support, residential support, and there was a charrette that was done. They all pointed to basically trying to get the streetscape of the area improved. And we went before the City Council, and the AARP actually supported the effort. We created a committee, and AARP was also involved in that, and also the Complete Streets effort. The process entailed trying to gain input from the public, the merchants, understanding what is it they desire. They wanted lighting, they wanted improvements to the roadway, sidewalks, benches. The bus shelters were a big consideration, narrowing of the roadways, adding rain gardens, and also trying to focus on a one-way in the lower section of Broadway. The project really was envisioned because there were identified needs for increased pedestrian safety. Broadway is a very wide road, and the crosswalks are very long, and particularly for the youth, the elderly, trying to get across the roadway from one side to the other was really a problem. And because of the width of the road, traffic speed tended to be high. So really the vision was to try to address public safety, speed, parking, and trying to make a much more pedestrian-friendly corridor that also was going to support merchants in being able to use their sidewalks with sidewalk cafes, and it would become a much more attractive corridor for locals and visitors. As you can see, we have pedestrian crosswalks along Broadway. The corridor is fairly wide, and the overall intent with the project is to try and make it more pedestrian friendly, widen the sidewalks, narrow the travel lanes, add more pedestrian crosswalks, and also add bump outs where a lot of these pedestrian crosswalks are. The roadway improvements were geared towards trying to slow traffic. Many of the pedestrian crosswalks will be elevated, but another part of it is to try to reconfigure the roadway. From Marlborough South, we actually did an analysis and found that we could convert the two-way roadway to a one-way south, and that's not going to impact any of the circulation in the area. And what that will do is increase the pedestrian flow and decrease the speed of the vehicles and allow us to add a bicycle component to the lower corridor.
Retailers here on Broadway are very excited about this plan. This plan is, the great thing about it is it takes into account all of the stakeholders of the community and really improves upon it both aesthetically and from a safety perspective. For cars, it makes it easier to park, to get out safely. For bicyclists, there's a more right of way, and the expanded sidewalks are also going to allow businesses to have more cafe seating.
We were talking about why Complete Streets is important to you, and you, as a resident and as in your neighborhood and walking your daughter down in the carriage, it's kind of difficult now.
Right. Well, my daughter's no longer in the carriage, but my efforts for seeing this streetscape project go forward go back to when she was still in the carriage. So some of the issues that I had walking on Broadway with her was that some of the curb cuts were just so extended that it was never truly safe to pass on that part of the sidewalk. So during the day, just some of the issues with the sidewalks being uneven or having roots lifting or having narrow sidewalks where if you have more than one person trying to pass, those were some of the issues I dealt with when she was little. Somewhere between 60 and 80% of the folks come in through Broadway, and so it would be nice to have the gateway to Newport occur a little bit as you get into Newport and not having to wait till you get down to the square.
When Broadway is completed, I believe that it will be a model statewide for Complete Streets. People will be very satisfied that it's all inclusive for all users, and they'll be quite pleased with the product.